What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here coming at you today with Q&A number 28. Before I get into my Q&A guys, just want to do a quick shout out to new subscriber Larry Portes Diaz. Apologies if I kind of botched that up, but thank you so much for subscribing, you're the reason my channel's growing stronger. So this week I once again have a set of questions from my good friend Dr. Petition84. He's got 7 questions for me and 1 comment from the last Q&A. So let's get into it with the comment first. I agree with the idea of the extra deck limit going to 18. I'm keen on it going to 20, but 18 would be fine. I think 18 would be a fine number. 3 extra spaces isn't a huge, not exactly a huge difference, but the decks that play things like Extravagance or Prosperity just means they can at least do it 3 times to get their maximum value out of it each time. Okay. And now that's covered, let's get into the questions. So first question, if you attended Hogwarts in the Harry Potter world, what house do you see yourself being in? Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw or Slytherin? So I've actually taken a couple of quizzes about this. I've also used the Harry Potter Sorting Hat toy for when our charity did a Witches and Wizards evening. So everyone had the chance to have the sorting hat put on their head to put them into a house. Mine actually put me as Hufflepuff. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's what it went with. So I think I'd probably end up in that house. Question 2. Have you read the Lord of the Rings books or seen any of the movies? Return of the King is my favourite. I've seen all the movies. I've also seen the extended versions of the movies. I did start reading the books. I got through the first one, got partway through the second one, and then I just kind of stopped reading. Because the books are just so much more long-winded than the films. The films were just so easy to follow. But yeah, I have absolutely loved the films. I really like the rivalry between Legolas and Gimli whenever they have a fighting competition to see who can kill more. I was kind of upset that they removed the extended cut, the final results from the Battle of Helm's Deep in the extended version, because that was quite an amusing scene I did watch from that. The other thing I like with Lord of the Rings is that I've played the video games on my PlayStation, so they were so much fun to go through. I did struggle with them a bit, but it was a massive amount of fun the entire way through. Question 3. So we're both fans of The Big Bang Theory? Yeah, we are. What about Friends? I love that show. I also absolutely love Friends. For me, Friends probably isn't one of those shows I would binge watch from season 1 all the way to 10, because there's a lot of episodes where I find it's eh. But there are several individual episodes where I really like this episode. I think probably my favourite episode is the one with the embryos, which is naturally the one where Phoebe gets pregnant, and also the guys and the girls have that competition to see who gets each other's apartment. That was just absolutely hilarious, and I really enjoyed watching that. I've rewatched that scene several times on YouTube. It's great. Question 4. What would be worse in your opinion? Endymion getting banished or have control taken from him? I know most cards that take control target, which won't work on him. The only cards I can think of that don't target are Creature Swap and Borreload Dragon. I'm trying to think of a scenario where control of Endymion could switch. So yeah, probably it would be the 2 situations that you just mentioned of Creature Swap and Borreload Dragon. I feel like Neo Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon can take control without targeting as well, because I'm pretty sure it's detach any number of materials to take control of the same number of monsters that you detach, but I don't know if it targets or not. I haven't checked in a while. But going back to the original question, for me, of those 2 scenarios, I'd probably have to say it getting banished. Because the way I see it is, if my opponent takes control of it, and Endymion has a spell counter on it, that's not so bad, because I can very easily take advantage of that. If I wanted it back in my hand, I can just threaten my opponent with a strong spell or trap to try and force them to use Endymion's negate, and because of the ruling of control, since it is my card, unless I'm in a mirror match, that would be the only card they control with spell counter, so they'd have to put the Endymion back into my hand, which is fine with me, because then I can just scale it, use its effect again, so I wouldn't mind about that. The other thing I wouldn't mind if my opponent takes control of is, if it has a spell counter, I could just I could easily just summon another copy, crash into it, and then the one which was destroyed in battle with a spell counter, I can activate its effect to rotate for a normal spell card. So if my opponent wants to steal my Endymion while it has a spell counter, be my absolute guest. I do not mind in the slightest. But if it gets banished, naturally there's nothing good I can do out of that. So probably I'd have to say it getting banished. Question 5. If Endymion became a pop figure, would you buy it? That's quite debatable, possibly, but pop figure's not really my thing, so probably not, but I'd maybe just base the decision on what it actually looks like. If it actually looks pretty decent, I might pick it up. If I don't like the way it looks, probably not. Question 6. September or October 2003 was when I first heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! And started playing it. What were you up to in general during either of those times? September, October 2003. So, at that point, I would have been 9 years old. So, school-wise, I would have been... that's hard for me to think back now. I probably should have thought this through before I did the Q&A. 9, I was in... Yes. So I think that was actually around the point when I was in I think I was around the point where I was in primary school, where I actually started first learning about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game as well. Like, a couple people in my class were getting interested in the game. I saw people playing it, but I never really properly got into it until just one day when I was outside in school. When I was walking around the school, I found a card on the ground. It was the King of Yami-Makai, and then from there I just kind of got into the game. I actually still have that King of Yami-Makai now, but because I found this thing like years ago, it's just completely battered and destroyed. But I've still kept it because to me it's just got that sentimental value. It's somewhere in here. Apologies that I'm having to search through those guys, but considering I did once ask Dark Magician 84 to count the number of Dark Magicians he owns, and he had to do it in the middle of his video, I suppose this is fair compensation for that. Okay. Not on that side. Not finding it, but I am finding lots of other good cards that I've had over the years. Okay, it's not in... Okay, for some reason it's not in here. Which is strange, because I could have sworn that's where it was. Yeah, I'll probably find... I'll try and find it later. That, no. I'll find it later. And then your last question. May 5th, 2007 was when I first started uploading videos to YouTube. What did you do on that day? Probably under most circumstances that would be a very difficult question to answer because that was several years ago. However, May 5th is my birthday, so May 5th, 2007 was my 13th birthday, and I can remember that one quite well. So on my 13th birthday, my dad took me and my friend out to a driving centre where we got to drive an automatic car for a few hours. So that was quite enjoyable. I mean, naturally an automatic car isn't exactly like proper driving, but still it was a nice experience and I enjoyed it overall. It was a really great day. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have in my Q&A. So thank you very much, Dark Patrician, for your questions. Very amusing as always. Thank you. And if anyone else wants to ask me questions, I do these Q&As every Wednesday, UK time, morning or afternoon, depending on what's going on in my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.